Hey everybody, I am so excited to introduce to you two new sets of die templates, and one of them is a new product from Spellbinders Paper Arts. These will be available for ordering starting at CHA, the summer show, so make sure you get a request into your local scrapbooking store to get these ordered for you. The first set I'm going to show you is S4348, and this is postage stamp, and I have been begging for this for a very long time. This is a set of 5 die templates that makes a postage stamp image, and these are just fantastic. The other thing I really like about these is the standard squares works beautifully with these, and so you've got the ability to add some great borders. The other thing that I'm very excited to show you is these. These are a new product from Spellbinders called Edgeabilities. The set here I'm showing you is E8005 Classic Postage Stamp. These are so fantastic. What this set comes with is it comes with 3 pieces that you see here. This one is the edger. This one cuts an edge. These 2 pieces here are decorative inserts, and you will see how beautifully these work on this project I'm going to show you. But the idea is that you can cut your border, and this does a postage stamp edge, and then you can go in, and these fit perfectly within the borders. So you can cut these, or you can just emboss these, and I'm going to show you just how to emboss today. And each set comes with 2. There's going to be several sets of these, and you're going to be able to mix and match all these wonderful edgers and decorative inserts in this new product called Edgeabilities. So let's get started on showing you how to use your Edgeabilities. I created this card, and I used the Edgeabilities. I used the edger to cut the edges of my card, and then I used a decorative insert to emboss a great pattern down inside that pattern on the edge of my card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my card base, and I'm going to move these aside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it because I'm going to cut this edge away, and I am going to take my die template and I'm actually going to put it cutting edge down. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure that my spacing is even and I know how much of the edge I'm going to be cutting away. And the other thing that's very important is I'm going to be using some tape. And if you can get some low-tack tape, that works great. If not, just take some Scotch tape and stick it to something that's cotton and get a little fuzz on it, and it'll lose its stick. And I'm going to use this piece of tape because I want to hold this perfectly in place when I cut this, because the pressure of the machine is what's cutting, and it's going to push these. And by putting this tape here, I'm going to hold this perfectly in place. And I'm going to cut through the front and back because I want the whole card to have this edge. So now that I'm ready to cut, I'm going to make sure my cut edge is up before I put it through the machine. And you can see I've got it on my base plate. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to top it with my very loved C cutting plate here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in my machine. I'm going to run it through. I love the length of these new Edgeabilities. They are longer than a card, so it's going to give you the ability to make pieces and edges longer, especially for scrapbooking. Here I'll put my ruler down so you can see how long they are. They are 8 inches long, and so are these decorative inserts. So not only just for cards, but for making gorgeous borders on your scrapbooks as well. Alright, I've got this cut, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss. So I'm going to leave it sitting right on my base plate, cut edge up. I'm going to top it with my embossing pad here, and then I'm going to cover it with my B embossing plate. And again, I'm going to run it through the machine. I'm going to turn the handle. You can see how easily it's going through the machine. Remember, when you put your machine down, make sure you wipe the bottom of the suction cup first and wipe your table down, because we create a lot of paper dust when we're paper crafting. And I'll ensure that your machine stays down. So I'm going to move these over and show you what we've got. So now I have, and I'm going to very gently peel this tape up so that I am not harming my base. Whoop. Real gentle, and now I have this gorgeous edge. I just love that. I think that's so great. So I repeated that for the other side of the base. So now I've got 2 edges cut. And now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do just some embossing. You can cut this decorative insert because you can see it has cut edges, but I wanted to leave the postage stamp edge shine a little bit. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just emboss this. And look at how perfectly that fits into the pattern. Isn't that awesome? Once again, I am going to take some tape and I am going to hold this, secure this with some tape. So as it runs through the machine, it leaves my edge even. Okay, and you can see I'm working on lining it up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just tape that in place. Okay, and like always, we're going to cut edge up. But I'm not going to cut this time, I'm going to emboss only. So on my base plate, I'm going to top that with my embossing pad. Now with my embossing plate, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this through the machine. Just rolling it through. Take it out and we'll show you this embossed edge. And now we've got this beautiful, I'm going to pull my tape away very carefully, and I've got this beautiful embossed edge that fits perfectly with my cut edge. So I repeated that again on the other side, and then what I did is I went in and I added some ink and I stamped a couple images and added my sentiment. So here is the base of my card and the project that I started with. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to show you how I did the front of the card. I'm going to show you how I did this piece, cutting this out with postage stamp. What I did is I started, and it might be a little difficult to see, I stamped with watermark ink and then heat embossed with clear powder an image from a Flourishes stamp called Cherry Blossom. And then what I did is I went and took my die template, and this is S4348, the classic, the postage stamp. And what I did is I, again, because I want to see where I'm going to line up my die template, I went over my image and I lined up my die template. And again, I'm going to hold it in place with just a little piece of tape to ensure that it goes through. And I'm going to secure it and I'm going to flip it over. Because remember, we always, always, always want to have our cut edge up. And I'm going to cut it. And so, because I'm going to cut, I'm going to use my ever so loved C cutting plate. And I'm going to run that through. And getting some popping and cracking is normal. That's just the paper. And here I've got it cut out. And then my next step would be to emboss. So again, I'm going to take my embossing pad. I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm going to top with my embossing plate and run it through. And I love the embossing detail on this image. It just brings out the postage edge so much more. It just adds that extra special touch to this image. And there we go. And here we have our piece. I'm going to remove the tape. Here you go. And you can see that gorgeous embossed edge. I just absolutely love the way that turned out. So once I had this, what I did is I inked the outside edges, inked some of the inside, and then I took ink and some water and I just paint brushed the flowers inside there. And then I also added this love stamp. And because I heat embossed the flowers, the extra of the postage cancellation image here just wiped away. So it looks like it fades into the background. So that was then attached to the front of our card base. And so now we've got our finished card. The next fun thing I thought about was I thought it would be great to be able to continue my theme over, and I thought it would be great to take my envelope and to cut and emboss the same detail into the flap of my envelope. So what I did is I created an envelope, and you can get envelope templates at scorepal.com. It's a great place to get them. And I'm just going to repeat the same thing I did before, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to lay down my This is my edger for my Edgeabilities. This is the one that's going to cut because it has the cut edge. I'm going to figure out where I want my edges to be even. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that. Now you can see how I worked it to make sure I'm cutting my flap on my envelope and not the wrong part. So because I want my cut edge up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this. Again, running it through the machine. Very easy to do, just one crank and it's through. Now, because I have it on the edge and not in the center, it's going to be a little bit stiffer to come through. You can hear the paper popping, and that's normal. And now I can go ahead and I can emboss that, and I'm going to have this great cut flap for my envelope, and I just love that that matches. And then to finish it off, I'm going to do the same thing with my decorative insert, and I just love how these all fit inside these cut edges. And I'm just going to emboss again. So this time, because I'm just embossing, I'm going to top it with my pad, top it with my embossing plate, go ahead and run that through. Now to finish the back edge of it off, I figured I wanted to carry the antiqued look over with it, so I went ahead and I inked all the edges of my envelope, and I also inked the flap. And I also like the inking because I think it brings out the embossing a bit more, so the detail comes a little bit more at the front. And now we have the embossed detail. Let me go ahead and lift that. And now we have this beautiful flap to our matching envelope. I just think that's fantastic. One more finishing touch that I want to show you, I was just continuing with the postage theme, is on my envelope I took and I created little postage stamps. And they're very easy to do, and that's what I think I love the most about these die templates, is you can make little postage stamps on all your projects to match whatever you're working on by just using some stamps. So what I did is I just took and I stamped some images, and these are from Technique Tuesday. And I just decided to spot cut out pieces. So I took my die template here, this is the postage stamp, and again I'm going to put it face down so I can see where my image is going to be. And I'm just going to put a little piece of tape there. And once again, just going to do the cut and emboss, and I'm just going to show you the cut. And by doing that, you're creating these great little postage stamps. And I had fun inking and adding different little elements and layering with my stamps. And here we go. And now we have our little postage stamp. And we can add that right to the front of our envelope. So there you go. I hope that you are very inspired and excited to give these a try. And I'll show you one more time. We've got S4348 postage stamp, and then we have our Edgeabilities. We have E8005 classic postage stamp, and there is the cutting edge, the edger, which cuts. Here is one decorative insert, and here is the other decorative insert. Have fun creating!